Hey everybody, welcome back to the ULoL Campus Series 2017 presented by the Collegiate Star League. Once again, I'm Joshua Piscator Lee, here joined by my co-caster, Seamus Simu Sanderson. We just saw the first match between the University of Victoria and Colorado State go down. Victoria up a decisive 1-0 in the series. Let's see if they can finish it out 2-0.
We have a few questions to ask. It's our responsibility as casters, Piscator.
Such as?
I was about to say, such as, can Colorado State come back and push this to a third game in this best of 3 series?
That is the question.
Victoria going to win this and get the clean sweep 2-0, going 4-1 into the playoffs? And another question that we sometimes need to ask ourselves, who is Steve?
Did I just completely miss the meme? That flew over my head.
Piscator, do you know who Steve is?
I don't.
Neither do I. Oh, we'll figure that out eventually. Let's take a look at the bands, though. We definitely know who those are. Once again, chat knows what I'm talking about. You guys got me. Another Zach band, another Shen band, and interestingly enough, an Oriana band.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Seamus, as the color caster / analyst. While Coach Tyler did a fantastic job in his game, I feel like Jhin pickup would make a lot more sense considering that 1977 went absolutely off in the bot lane on that champion. Taking away the Oriana from Coach Tyler, I feel like Coach Tyler can probably play other champions, but that Jhin is going to be locked in for Colorado State. 2 power picks available now to the red side. Let's see what Victoria picks up.
This is going to leave the Rumble open as well. I agree with you. I don't think the Oriana was the cause of, it wasn't the major problem. That being said, though, remember that Coach Tyler was actually able to force out Denon's flash in a 1v1 solo lane, and the Oriana was pretty impactful. So not only did they take away that mid lane champion, but they also took the Jhin away. It's a pretty solid adaptation in the second game.
Let's see what the Italian one picks up in the jungle this time around, because we saw the Rumble in the jungle play to surprisingly strong effect, but now let's see what this guy can do on a quote-unquote S-tier jungler. Kha'Zix is pretty S-tier, right? About as S-tier as you can get, I feel like, aside from Rengar.
Yeah, Kha'Zix is definitely one of the best jungle champions currently available. The Italian one decided to go for a flex pick before, but this time just sticking to the strong stuff, and Dank Puppies is going to be locking in that Syndra for Coach Tyler.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Seamus, but I feel like Syndra is far scarier to face in lane than an Oriana. Oriana's kind of annoying because you're generally going to expect to farm lane. She's a bit more difficult to gank due to her, innate ability to shield herself. She has a little bit more tankiness from her ball passive, in addition to being able to speed herself up with the dissonance. You put Syndra in the mid lane, she's going to be looking to body fools.
Both champions are pretty skill-based, and in the hands of a strong player are going to be really scary, but I will say Syndra has a lot of stronger pressure earlier in the lane phase, and then also at level 6, Syndra's ultimate's a single target, whereas technically Oriana's is more AoE focused. She's going to have a lot more 1v1 potential. So yeah, that's definitely a frightening pick.
Always fun to have a delete button. Oh, a Sejuani! I have not seen this champion in
the lock-in too.
A long time.
Curious, Sejuani is one of the champions that's scheduled for a Vanguard rework. I think actually Riot posted just a link about her today because they're trying to look at the tanks next in terms of their rework cycle. Ari picked up as well, so Denon, we'll see how he does in that lane matchup. Ari can definitely take down a Syndra and also has a lot of roaming potential. But going back to the first pick ban phase that we had, Piscator, when we talked about banning away pocket picks, which we've seen a lot of in the collegiate level, if you ban the pocket picks, you leave the OPs open, and Camille is currently being hovered over.
Don't you like having a champion that can jump halfway across the map, lock you in that little circle of death thing, and then just swat away at you with those metal legs?
I'm not gonna lie, I love Camille's voice when she's banned away. The whole "I will wait for you to be better," and the fact that she's banned in pretty much all the Ren games. Coach Tyler. All of that, and you just troll us with the karma.
This is why they teach us not to talk about hovers, but we got so excited.
Yeah, exactly. But you never see Camille. I mean, they could still pick it. Well, technically it's open. Maybe Flashy Narnia's going to try it. You'd also expect someone called Flashy and Narnia to play Flashy Heroes. Excuse me, Flashy Champions.
Whoa, Riot Police going to come after you.
Speaking of Flashy, this should be interesting.
Right, so we saw what happened in the bot lane in the previous game. 1997, for lack of a better term, just completely dumped on Sky. Reinhardt, I feel like that's pretty fair to say, considering that 1997 was like 7-1 and 3 at 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Fiora locking in the top lane, some split pushing potential, but if that Fiora gets shut down early, there's not much that this French lady can do.
Now I'm curious to see what the pick is going to be from Dank Puppies. Is he going to try and fight this? Is he going to try and take a tank? Technically, their team composition does kind of need a tanky champion to round it out, but if you're University of Victoria at this point, you might just be feeling confident and go for all damage. Eurosmite picking up Zyra, very effective support. Not going to have an ability, though, so it might be a bit of a problem if he gets caught out like we saw with the Misfortune before. And the lock-in from Uber Noobs is going to be a Nautilus, so they do have a tank to round that comp.
And that Nautilus is going to go to the top lane to face off against the Fiora. Sejuani in the jungle is going to be one of the most interesting things to see. We haven't seen a Sejuani in the jungle for quite some time. See how the Italian one on that Kha'Zix supplies pressure to the lady on the pig. It's a pig, right?
It's a boar, technically.
That's the same family. It's like they're all in the babe family.
That'll do. Wow, that was a really meta joke, Piscator, but no one will get that.
That's fine as long as both of us get it. It's cool.
In our prep, I may have not remembered.
Okay, no, I'm telling this story. We have time.
Oh my
All right,
goodness.
this is what happened.
Fine.
Seamoose and I were talking before the game, and I said something like, "That'll do, pig." And then Seamoose was like, "What's that from? Bilbo? Bimbo?" And I'm like, "Those were the."
Is this appropriate for a collegiate audience, Piscator? I remembered it started with B, but I didn't remember like.
So you went for Bilbo and Bimbo first.
Those are words that start with B that I remember.
Thank you, Seamoose. But going back to the game itself.
Okay, I wanted to say this before you got us off track. Thank you, Mr. Professional. Kha'Zix, God, I'm crying now. Kha'Zix is going to have a field day against Sejuani in the early levels, and considering the fact that the Italian one started with a 3-buff start, I really wonder how exactly Colorado State is going to deal with this, because I can't help but imagine the Italian one is going to play super aggressive.
And on top of that, considering that Coach Tyler is on a much more aggressive early game mid laner, and Varus probably the best AD carry in the game right now, and we saw 1997 just absolutely style on Sky in the opposite lane when he was playing Jhin. Varus arguably does a lot better with the early lethality build, especially considering that poke, so I have no idea what's going to happen to Colorado State. I feel like a lot of eggs are put into the Fiora basket in the top lane, but if this French lady gets shut down, like, their baguettes are toast.
Their baguettes will be toast indeed. I'm not sure how the naval exploration was of the French fleet, but Flashy and Narnia on that carry champion is definitely going to have to come up big against this Nautilus and throughout the game if CSU want to take it back.
All right, we'll see if Victoria can pull off the clean 2-0 sweep or if Colorado State is going to force us to a Game 3. Everybody, you are watching the ULoL Campus Series 2017 presented by the Collegiate Star League in association with Band Gaming, Twitch, and Asus. And for those of you wondering what Band Gaming is, because at first I was like, I don't really know what Band Gaming is. Band is the social app and the primary social app of the CSL, with many features such as creating groups, which can be, good for your CSL team or club, boards, calendar functions, polls, chat, and as of recently, call functionality. Band is a premier social experience for you and your fellow gamers alike. But we're going to go into our spectator delay. When we come back, it'll be Colorado State versus Victoria in the second game in their best of 3.
Only $14.99.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ULoL Campus Series 2017. We're into our second game between the University of Victoria and Colorado State. It's going to be Colorado on the blue side this time with Flashy Narnia in the top lane on that Fiora, one Thrustman in the jungle, Dean on 39 in the mid lane, Sky Reinhardt on 80 carry, and Yorosmai playing that support.
On the other side, the members of Victoria have the dang puppies, the Italian one, 1997-07-23, the noob, who is the uber noob, and of course, their coach, Tyler. So as a heads up, I want to make sure we pronounce all the names properly. His name is actually Denon. Denon is the mid laner. Yeah, like denim, but with an N.
Thank you, Seamus.
There you go.
Actually,
but
really useful.
Yeah, I mean, if for you guys, we do our best to communicate with you in whatever way possible. Twitter, Twitch chat, whatever. Let us know if we're saying your names improperly, if we're, dissing your favorite player or your favorite champion. We'll try to rectify that situation.
All right, this is exactly how, very similar to how the previous game started, with that early aggression being shown by the side of Victoria, and now that had very distinct effects on the side of Colorado. Sky actually had to back, walking all the way back from base this early on, not even fully healed back up yet. Is he going to miss level 2?
I think he might actually. At the very least, they're going to be behind. No early invade, though. At least no initial steal from the Italian or Kazakhs. And the lanes are going to be normal lanes across the board. But a slight EXP advantage. Definitely going to be pushing in favor of the right side bot lane.
Yeah, it's definitely a rough start, especially considering that they prioritized that Jhin pickup in the bot lane, considering how well 1997 did in the previous game. It's about as bad of a start as you can kind of hope for, besides, actually giving up first blood, being forced back to base when the first minion wave is coming out. See if Sky can, respond to this. It's a Doran start versus a Longsword start as well, so 1997 going to spike a little bit earlier. He's on a good path there.
That is interesting, too, because this time they're playing the reverse champions, but they're sticking with the builds that they used before. So
what do you think? Do you think Doran's is... I feel like Longsword is just way too strong nowadays, considering how good lethality is on champions like Varus and Jhin, and, just in general, how powerful lethality was after the buff. So I feel like Longsword is always going to be the preferred start.
Yeah, I wasn't in the camp initially, but considering how strong lethality is on all of these champions you see as the 80 carries, it's so effective if you get it. And the earlier you get it, the better. So I really do think Longsword, especially because the type of supports you see are also generally mage supports who do a lot of poking. So having those extra potions to simply sustain you throughout the lane is so incredibly effective. Coach Tyler and Denon trading, but now the Italian one coming in. Hold on.
Jumping in. Oh, the spike's going to finish him off. First blood for the Italian one.
Oh, man. That was so close. Both teams were trying to have their junglers gank into the mid lane. However, it was the Italian one picking up first blood.
We saw what the Italian one did on a non-meta champion in the jungle like the Rumble. Considering that he's now sitting on an S-tier champion as defined by most pros, I mean, this is going to be real scary. He's already getting going.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be really scary. Because at this point, one thrust man has to be careful that there's not a Kha'Zix in his jungle. We see the top lane gank, really good riposte there, is gonna stop any aggression. Actually continuing to fight, but the Italian one taking a lot of damage, forced to back up.
Looks scary for a second. Oh, looks like Narnia actually not electing to leave just yet.
I wish we would replays for this because, man, that first blood in mid lane was so cool. Denon flashed away, but the W actually landed from the Italian one, and had that not landed, then they probably would have had to use a summoner spell to catch up to it. But considering the fact that Denon is now flashless in the mid lane, that could be really, really troubling for CSU.
Yeah, nothing makes a jungler come to your lane faster than knowing that you don't have flash.
Yeah, exactly. Especially Ahri pre-6. Oh, boy.
You ever do that thing until... Oh, wait, hold. Top lane. Dang Puppies going pretty darn low here. Flashy and Narnia actually going to force the flash out of Dang Puppies. Denon, however, not even a jungler is necessary. Coach Tyler going to swat away with the autos.
Wow.
Dark Spear misses, but it doesn't even matter. This coach doing some work in the early game. 1-0 and 1 on the Syndra. We talked about early aggression.
I'm not sure about that one, Thrust Man. Coach Tyler has the midi wave to his advantage. Also, the level up. And once again, Summoner's in favor. Oh, teleport coming in at Flashy, and Narnia is in big trouble. Doesn't have Flash.
This Fiora's going to get pinched on the Cossacks, jumping right in. Like you said, no Flash, so no real escape possible, but somehow picking up the first kill in that fight. Dang Puppy's going to respond. Going to get some assist gold in the pocket of that Cossacks, but it looks like an all-in in the bot lane. Uber Noobs throws down the exhaust. 1997 in the world of hurt. Throws down to heal to get himself away. Not quite dropping there. Whoa! Double flash coming out of the bot lane duo of Victoria. All summoners burned on the red side. They're going to have to play careful.
Colorado State is showing some signs of life. The play there from Flashy and Narnia. Oh, man.
Signs of low. Coach Tyler going in too deep.
Woohoo! Jeez, that charm under turret. Coach Tyler tried to flash in, however, Ari was able to survive throughout all of that. Awesome. In the chat, Coach Tyler wrote, "I'm bronze." Oh, man, but so many nice plays going in favor of CSU, but now...
Here's a two-piece.
There's the answer.
These teams are so darn scrappy. We're not even 7 minutes into the game. We've already had 7 kills. There's so many games out there. Like, I always talk about how collegiate tends to be more aggressive, but these are two of the most aggressive teams I've seen on the ULoL Campus Series broadcast in quite some time. It's like EULCS up in here.
You see all of this damage that he's getting, hitting all the vital signs. I want to say he's been getting a little bit lucky, actually, with the vital sign placements, too, at least from what we've seen on camera. But still, able to hit all of those is really good. Ooh, Denon missing the charm there and taking some poke from Coach Tyler. Still needs to be careful in the 1v1. Currently, as far as items are concerned, he's a little bit behind. But right now, University of Victoria definitely still with the advantage. But we saw in the ball lane, we saw in the mid lane, Colorado State still fighting back.
The gold lead still starting to grow already in favor of Victoria. Almost 2K up at the 7.5-minute mark. We thought that, you know, 1K at 8 minutes in the previous game was ridiculous. They're looking to beat that record, it seems. A lot of it coming from that jungler. Coach Tyler, however, facing a 2v1 in the mid lane. Gonna pop the ghost and try and get himself away. Looks like he's gonna go down, though, as Denon finally manages to find a revenge kill. But in the top lane, it's the Italian one shutting down Flashy and Narnia. Duo gonna shove the lane out, maybe try to apply some damage to the tower. It's the bot lane, trying to get this wave shot back out.
Yep, so kills traded there. Coach Tyler using his ghost was not able to get away. One thrust man notably did have to use his ultimate for that. All things considered, the Italian one used his ultimate as well. I mean, it's not exactly like a one-for-one trade, but overall it's pretty much a parity. So we'll have to see what the next play on this map is going to be. We see Italian one. He got that scrying plan. He is trying to poke around in the enemy jungle. But currently, 2 pretty well-placed pink wards mean that, for the most part, any aggression into the blue side jungle is going to be scouted out by the members of CSU.
And Italian one already has 1,000 and change over one thrust man. That's hard to do as a jungler this early on in the game.
Well, when you look at the fact that he's on one of the strongest early game champions in the game,
Truth.
And the fact that he had an incredibly impressive early game in the last game of the series.
Also truth.
Yeah, that's not too surprising. I do want to see whether or not one thrust man can keep that 1,000 gold lead leveled, though. If they don't allow the Italian one to get too far ahead, Sejuani scales up incredibly effectively and is an absolute monster when it comes to team fighting.
Especially considering the team of Victoria doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of tank shredding. I guess even, especially since Vera is gonna build that lethality build, you're not gonna get those big crits in the armor pen that you would expect from somebody like a Vayne later on in the game. So I guess
and it's interesting. Sorry, I was just gonna say it's interesting too because Varus actually does percentage HP damage in his kit, but you never build that way. You don't max W early at all. You just build for the lethality and damage. Hold on now. The Italian one is looking for a gank here. They have a lot of burst damage, and they just need to land the Varus ultimate, so this might be a kill in the bottom lane.
Top lane, though, maybe a kill here as Dang Puppy's getting chunked down. Italian one gonna go in. The Chain of Corruption gonna miss. But it looks like the damage is gonna be enough. 1997 finding a kill there. Italian one just has to get out of range. Good heal coming in from 1997. Now the counter engage coming in from the side of Colorado. Doesn't look like they can reach them. Still looks like the Italian one is gonna jump in, get a kill, or an assist rather, jump right back out.
And that was so close to being a 1-for-1 trade. One thrust man just pixels off from landing the Glacial Prison to catch that Kha'Zix, but that slippery bug buggers away, and what looked like was potentially going to be killed on the top lane actually didn't happen. That being said, though, no flash for Dank Puppies. Needs to be careful.
Nautilus also a very scary champion to dive. Oh, let's see who's going to win this one. Dank Puppies. Oh, the Death Charge comes out. You bit off a little bit more than you could chew there, Fiora. Dank Puppies coming out on top with that one.
That is not the kind of thing you want to see if you are a CSU fan. It could have potentially been an advantage. Is now another kill in favor of Dank Puppies, and you gotta think Dank Puppies probably knew just the limits of his champion, knowing that he could tank up the Fiora. So long as she doesn't have the W up, he can get that ultimate off. And with the depth charge and the turret, secures a kill for himself. 2-0-1 now, has the Bomby Cinder completed as well as a Chain Vest. That's going to be a really tough lane.
Denon and One Thrust Man coming in after Coach Tyler. Doesn't look like Denon really had an opportunity to charm him, so Coach Tyler going to make it away pretty safely. And going back to that top lane fight, Dank Puppies was actually behind in gold prior to the tower dive attempt of Narnia. Now, considering that Dank Puppies came ahead of that kill, he actually pulled ahead 100 in gold following that. So Flashy and Narnia didn't necessarily have to do that. The fact that he did and failed gave the lead over to Dank Puppies.
And it's definitely problematic when the whole purpose of the Fiora is to get an early lead. Oh, in the bot lane.
Well, that was pretty easy from 1997.
Yup, you land that ultimate. That is a dead champion.
So this first pick, Jhin. I don't think Jhin was necessarily the problem that Colorado State was facing. I think 1997 is just good.
He
That's some gold level analysis right there, right, Seamus?
Hey, I'm gold 3 right now. I can't complain.
I'm not gold 3 right now. I'm not going to tell you what I am. Italian one, though. Gonna look to go gold and kills Flashy and Narnia. Gonna flashy himself away. Whoop, 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 whoop. Italian one takes him down.
That's your one pun for the day. Although I've had like 4, so. Yeah, this is starting to look a little bit reminiscent of last game where the Italian one had a very strong start on Rumble. In this case, he's on Kha'Zix, who is a snowball monster. Flash and Narnia had a pretty good early game, but at this point, 1 in 4. The Fiora hasn't been able to complete an item yet. And you gotta wonder, with a 3-0 Virus and a 4-1 Kha'Zix, definitely firm control over to the University of Victoria.
And in these kind of situations, I feel like we would normally say things like, oh, something to look out for is the fact that Colorado State, I would say that their team comp scales better into the late game, considering how Sejuani becomes unkillable, Fiora somehow even more unkillable, and Ahri and Jhin just start pumping out tons and tons of damage. But the side of Victoria has been incredibly good at using their early gold leads to pressure the rest of the map. So this is a team that has already shown their ability to work with a lead, so don't expect a throw from the University of Victoria. If anything, like, this game should be over pretty quick if they play like they did in the last series, or the last
if you're
game.
If you're coming into this game without having seen the first in this best of 3, it was a 28-minute game. University of Victoria got early game advantages like we see here, but then their vision control and their objective play was so strong that they never threw. Not once did they make a trade that was not in their favor. So if they continue that, they're going to have an okay time. However, like you said, we have to mention the fact that the scaling from CSU's side is going to be really strong. The problem is Piscator, they have to get there first.
They have a decent lead right now, picking up the first Drake of the game. Italian one going to take credit for that. In addition to 3,000 and change is the gold lead for Victoria. Oh, Sky!
4-man
Trying
bot
to
lane.
pull the curtain down. 1997 maybe caught out, maybe dumb out of luck right here. Just leave the Varus to die. Save yourself, Karma. Sejuani going to jump forward to pick up the kill on that. Coach Tyler, however, going down. Italian one comes around the outside to pick up a revenge kill. Here comes the Scatter of the Week. Unleash it onto Denon is what they're trying to do. Shutdown comes through for the Italian one, and One Thrust Man jumps in on the Italian one, giving the Kha'Zix a triple kill. A 4th one, not possible. But Coach Tyler going to come in for the cleanup, and at the end of the day, it's a 4-for-2 in favor of the University of Victoria.
1997 went down, but he played that fight so well, dodging the crowd control, using the heal at the very last moment, forcing the members of CSU to go all the way, and because it took so long to dive, goodbye Fiora, because it took so long for them to dive the Varus, the 4-man turnaround, and with the Fiora dead in the top lane, we see the MIA pings unofficially Piscator. That is a 15-minute ace.
15 minutes, 15 kills to Victoria.
Nice.
There's 20 kills in this game, and we're not even 20 minutes in. This is great.
This is some very strong League of Legends. You know, you give the AD carry up so that the team may advance. Your Nautilus has now snowballed to the point where Fiora is not going to be able to 1v1 him, and CSU is staring at a 4,500 gold deficit. As the turrets go down, that is just going to balloon even more in favor of Victoria.
Yeah, that is a stark difference compared to the last game. We haven't seen a turret go down quite just yet, but the Italian one, looking for a lane gank here. Flash and Narnia fully committing to this. Gonna realize she's in a bad spot once the Kha'Zix jumps in. And we're just gonna watch as this Fiora goes down for the 6th time. Dang Puppy's going on a rampage, and Fiora falling further and further behind.
So Flash and Narnia there, showing the fact that, yes, Fiora does have the damage to still take down a tank, such as not with her percent max HP damage. But the thing is, that was a 2v1, and now One Thrust Man needs to be careful. I'm not sure if Dang Puppies wanted to pull aggro there. He didn't really have a choice, though, considering his Bomby Cinder. But still, that's another kill over. 16 kills in 16 minutes. Hold on.
Full commitment. Victoria may be able to turn. They just need to take up a couple shots for the Karma.
Nice almost there.
Stole him out,
yeah.
stole him out, stole him out.
Yorsmite! Oh, man. 3 Blight stacks on him. That Varus W coming in clutch, but it's not enough to get the kill. Sky not going to land the W. Uh-oh.
It's going to be bad. Oh, the Karma going to flash forward. The tether, if it lands, he could be dead. Uber Noob's going very, very low. Sky with one bouncing grenade doesn't get the kill.
Oh, no auto. Holy crap, this ball lane is so tense. Here comes Ari.
Denon. Spirit Rush going to make it 2. What? Flashing forward for that one. Going to Spirit Rush backwards in order to get the double kill.
Okay. And all of a sudden, all of that anxiety, all of that tension in the bot lane, crushed by Denon coming in, picking up the kill. At a 2-for-0 in favor. Oh, the Italian one, what are you doing?
There's so much
Oh,
fight.
man.
Did he already leap?
Yeah,
there we go.
He used the plan. All right. So a few mistakes there.
We just can't talk, dude. They just keep fighting.
Is Flashy going to win this?
Doesn't look like Flashy wants to
4-0-2 Sunfire Nautilus?
They may fully commit.
Yeah, the Hydra is completed.
Dang Puppy's going to get out alive, though.
Oh,
That's a lot closer than I thought it would be, considering that the Nautilus is 4-0-2 and the Fiora is 1-6.
Fiora is such a good tank shredder. Really, even 1-6, she has 1 item completed. She has a lot of sustain, a lot of damage. And at this point, Dang Puppies, unless he's under turret, or maybe he recruits the help of the Italian one once again, he needs to be careful in this 1v1. I mean, at this point, I think he might be able to do it alone, but why not just ask your buddy to come by?
Italian one is here. The riposte is gone, which means they can now start to pound down the CC. Up goes the Fiora, down goes the Fiora. Dang Puppies now unstoppable. 5-0-2 on that knot.
All right, at this point, if you're looking at the VOD of this Flashy and Narnia, don't want to be too mean, but you never have seen a duel with this Nautilus without having the Kha'Zix around. Every time the Kha'Zix wasn't around, Nautilus always backed away. 1-7, 19 minutes into the game, mostly because of getting ganked by Kha'Zix like this, is not something you want to see out of the carry top laner. At this point, it is not doing members of CSU any favors.
And we kind of talked about the win conditions before going into this game. They picked the Fiora on the top lane. She's going to have to get going. Coach Tyler, not quite able to get the delete button off.
Forcing out the ultimate, though, without using his own means the committal there next time he lands that stun could very likely net him a kill.
Bot lane still staying pretty scrappy. Yorsmai going very, very low. No potions left means that that's Zyra going to have to step away for a second. One Thrust Man taking a lot of damage. No MR on that Sejuani quite just yet, so Coach Tyler going to have to be respected.
That being said, though, One Thrust Man has a decent amount of HP. Typical completed. Shouldn't be charging this, though. Definitely can go down. There's the damage. Okay.
That's what happens when you hit R and Q a few times with Syndra.
Yep.
Flashy and Narnia still committing to this Dang Puppies, trying to charge in after the Fiora. pretty far up in the lane. This time, the Italian one isn't here. May commit fully to this flashy Narnia, chasing under the tower for this kill. As the bot lane now going in for the fight. The Italian one picking up a kill, jumping right onto the opposite support. A double kill for the Kazakhs. And it looks like the rest of Victoria now going to shove out this lane, make their way over towards the Dragon, and claim motion number 2.
Meanwhile, Dank Puppies was able to get out of that. He had to flash for it, but still didn't go down. Oh, W landing. Denon getting knocked back while trying to dive in. Ghost pop by Syndra.
Coach Tyler's got the moves like Jagger. Did you see how many skill shots he's juked?
Oh,
Another
yeah.
orb?
And how many he lands, too. That's one of the things about Syndra. You have to land those while dodging him, and he lands a good amount of those orbs.
I feel like the team of Colorado really has to start looking at Denon to carry this game, because Denon is the only one doing well. I was going to say not doing, like, he's the only one not doing terrible, but in terms of relative, you know, to the rest of the team and how his lane is doing, he has 5 kills, pretty far behind in CS.
Yeah, he's quite a bit behind in lane. That being said, though, he has more gold than the rest of his team, and that's exactly why he has to be the champion, the hero that they look for.
This context, it was appropriate.
If
But looks like no hero to be found here. He's dead.
No, there's not much he can do.
One thrust, man.
Tyler. Oh my god, he's so good. Dodging every single one of the Jin bullets and then getting the knockback on the charging Sejuani. Alright, this is totally biased because I've only seen literally, or I've only casted, I should say, 1 series of the ULoL champion, or the ULoL campus series, excuse me. But I have to say, Victoria looking pretty fierce.
Just wonder if they can keep up. Oh, this could be a good spot for ult. Redemption comes down for the heal. One thrust, man. Not quite wanting to commit the Glacial Prison to that. Mid tower getting pretty low, though. This poke pretty hard
this
to deal
1v1
with.
could be nice.
Isolation
Italian one is
damage a
so
lot.
strong right now.
Fiora gonna get out of life. Italian one's still chasing, it seems like. Making sure that the Fiora can't easily teleport in.
Top lane turret is pretty low. Mid lane turret is pretty
Completely
dead. Yeah.
There's a decent amount of wave clear from the side of Colorado, though, so they can stall out for a decent amount of time. But there's so much pick potential coming, especially at range in the team comp of Victoria. I mean, they can land one lucky anchor. They manage to get the Chain of Corruption off. Then you kind of just layer on the rest of the CC, scatter the weak into, you know, depth charge, into every single other thing that Nautilus does, and then Karma just kind of roots you on top of that. So gonna have to show a lot of respect when getting into these wave clear siege situations. This Victoria is still hilariously strong, about 10k in gold ahead at 23 minutes, 21-7 in kills. That's a factor of 3. Hashtag math. So they're pretty darn strong. Oh boy.
Math. Well, if we want to talk about a little bit of multiplication, I will correct you, Piscador. Technically, they're only about 9,000 gold ahead.
Truth. Why can't I be like the other
Arithmetic,
Koreans
but-
and be good at League of Legends and math?
Oh boy, let's not get into that. There goes the Q. Nice riposte though.
Nautilus is pretty darn tanky. 3-man knockup. See if they can follow it up. One thrust man, the only one locked down by the Chain of
Here
Corruption.
comes
Italian
Kazakh.
one from around the outside. Not quite able to find the assassination, but Eurosmite going pretty darn low. The flash forward. Gonna finish off the Zyra, and the rest of the members of Colorado gonna have to back off. Just kind of half of a wave available for Victoria. Let's see if they want to commit to this tower as the rest of the members of Colorado are being chased off.
I kind of expected more out of them. However, the flashy Italian one playing it really conservatively and just going for the one kill that they can get for sure, pick up the turret that they can obtain very easily and take their advantages and run. Very measured play. This is part of why Victoria has looked so good in the series. They get ahead Piscator and then they don't throw it. They play smart, they play intelligent, they pick up the easy kills, the easy objectives, and then rotate to pick up more, just like they're doing now.
I mean, we've kind of made comments about how strong Victoria looks in these fights in terms of the damage that they put out and the items that they have. But if you actually take a look at their gold counts right now, every single one on the team of Victoria is sitting on 1,000, 1,700 plus gold, with Coach Tyler sitting on 4,200, 4,300 just about. They're going to have the sickest treat yourself day of all time once they go back to the fountain. I'm just straight up Zhonya's, bam, throw down the credit card. Large Rod, bam, I got you.
Yeah,
you guys
they're
are
buying
balling.
themselves some chocolates after Valentine's Day, and now the Hail Mary Baron might actually be successful considering the fact that the members of the red team Victorian aren't here, but that's one Q from Barrett, and here comes Kha'Zix. Never mind, this might be a huge risk.
Smite disparity. Level up. C9 Baron play. I guess FlyQuest Baron play. They do manage to secure it though. Yorsmai going very low. Varus jumping forward with the piercing arrow for the kill. Italian one not able to get the Baron, but trying to get the Fiora on the exit of the fight. Narnia does get out. Coach Tyler now with the Ghost trying to chase down.
Or execute.
Could be a close one.
Nah, he's dead.
Goodbye. They do get Baron though, so a very decisive play.
So that's 300 gold for all of them. And a little bit of reprieve. However, they get taken down. Honestly, the Baron will let them stall a little bit more. So I don't think like that was a bad play to make. And it wasn't the worst situation. Had they lost the fight and then also lost the Baron, that would have been absolutely awful. But for now, they're still in the game.
Well, that's the best thing they could reasonably expect. Not
Was a
entirely
little bit
sure if she's going to go down. Oh! No, never mind. Coach Tyler is super duper fed. Going unstoppable with the kill onto the Sejuani, but like you said, that Baron going to enable them to stall out for a little bit as the rest of the members of Colorado State are rotating towards its bot side.
You got the Baron, then you also have the decent wave clear like we mentioned before. It's not going to be too bad in a sieging situation. Once Varus gets here, though, with that blue buff.
Now it's annoying.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a bit of damage, and they're also just going to, once again, play it smart. Going for a Mountain Drake, it's going to be a little bit of objective damage there. 2 Ocean Drakes hasn't done too much for the members of Victoria so far, so that Mountain Drake is definitely going to press their advantage a little bit harder. But this is time that is currently not being spent finding a very strong lead for Victoria. The members of CSU, all they want to do now is get to that late game fantasy, 5-6 items, 20 minutes from now, and maybe they can come back into this game. And it's up to Victoria to press their advantage and see if they can actually close the game out, because we can enter a late game situation where CSU, at least by composition, have the advantage.
It's going to take a long time to get there, though.
Yeah, it will take quite a bit.
And we were talking about how Colorado getting Baron enabled them to wave clear for a little bit longer, stall out, but if you kind of look on the other side of the Rift, Victoria has incredible wave clear and stall out potential as well, and on top of that, considering that they have 2 Ocean Drakes, their sieging is so much more annoying, and as soon as they get somebody off a tower with the help of that additional Mountain Drake, they can start taking out these...
Not a single one has gone down so far for Victoria. Speaking of going down, though, Flashy probably going to die here.
Depth charge not even necessary as the Glacial Person does land. 1997 just trying to kite out. Piercing arrow comes through. One thrust man trying to get to the backline, but they just go down. Denon gonna have to Spirit Rush out. Dang Puppy's gonna get shut down there, so it's a 1-for-1 so far. Yorosmai trying to jump onto the opposite support. Scatter the Weak lands, and the Zyra goes down. Sky Reinhardt now gonna have to ditch his support and run as 3 members of Colorado drop in exchange for Dang Puppies on the opposite side. This tower should be going down.
3-for-1 trade. The catch there coming out of Victoria. A little bit too aggressive by one thrust man, and that is another turret going down. Not a single turret has fallen so far from Victoria's side, and with an objective lead this high. We're past the 28 marker, so we're past when Victoria found their win in game number 1, but this is really looking like a 2-0 clean series.
This is one of those games that either ends in 35 minutes or 75 minutes.
Yeah. It's a matter of, is there a flaw that we will see? Is there a mistake? Potentially a pick somehow with an RE charm? Some sort of slip up from the side of Victoria that enables the members of Colorado State University to come back? Because if so, they could potentially ride that wave the entire way through. No inhibitor turret has been taken down. No inhibitor just yet. So it's not as if currently the base is being knocked on, I guess. The doors of the base. But Piscator, as we're headed to the 30-minute mark, not a single objective remains other than those inhib turrets. So I'm guessing that's where we are going to see the focus of Victoria next.
Okay, Seamus, we're kind of talking about the scaling potential of somebody like a Sejuani being that mega tank in the late game. What is she building? Is that a GLP build?
Potentially.
Not entirely sure if that's exactly what their team
Yeah.
needs, but
I'm not a super big Sejuani player, so I'm not. Oh, that's
oh boy, Flashy and Narnia, 10th death of the game, not going so well for this carry top laner. The only carrying being done by this top laner is the team carrying them to the ER over and over again. Really, really rough. Top lane inhib tower gonna go down as it looks like one of the last stands that they can pull off. Sky gonna get hooked in. CC chained to death, and the second, or the first inhibitor rather, gonna go down. Victoria gonna claim that one. Minion wave is at the door. Could they go for the end? They may be looking for more kills here. Anchor toss misses.
Might be able to. The death climbers are kind of long. That being said, though, they've taken quite a bit of damage. One there's still alive, flashing. Oh, the glacial prison misses. Yeah, they do have to back off.
Baron is up in a minute 15 though, and I feel like this time around, Victoria's a lot better equipped, and they're in a lot better position to actually contest this one. Colorado State got very lucky sneaking away the first one, bought themselves a few extra minutes, but I feel like once the Dragon comes up, once Baron comes up, this near 14,000 gold disparity is really going to be felt. They got 3 Drakes on top of that.
One Thrust man is almost going to have his GLP completed. And it gives you mana, it gives you AP, it gives you health. Technically, those are all great stats in Sejuani. Not going to have too much magic resist, which is kind of a big problem against the 8 and 2 5 Cinder. But if they land a perfect 4-5 man Glacial Prison, that could be a very quick team fight in their favor and a way to come back.
Speaking on the point about having no magic resist, not even going for the Merc Treads, actually electing to pick up Swifties. We're kind of talking about how Varus has the ability to take down tanks because he does % health magic damage. Considering that Sejuani isn't building any MR, well, you kind of make up for the fact that he's not necessarily building a tank shredding build. If the fact that he already innately has that in his kit makes it a lot easier to take that in the Sej.
You're right, but I will play devil's advocate just a bit. Technically, there are 5 slows from Victoria's team, so it's not awful.
Truth.
Baron has been started. No damage taken so far from Victoria, but Colorado State does see it.
Oh, they may commit to this one. This could be the game-ending fight right here as Narnia goes in 2-11-1 on the Fiora. Fiorosmai gonna get turned into salad. Denon, this foxy lady, probably not gonna make it out alive as the Kha'Zix picks up a double kill. 3 members now down for Colorado State. Whoa, Uber noobs!
That's the game. Yeah, they surrendered there. The Italian won on the Kha'Zix. Bug greater than grass confirmed as he gets the kill on the Zyra, and the base is down. A 2-0 series and a definitive dominant victory by the University of Victoria.
Just a couple more kills to pad the stats. If there was collegiate fantasy, man, this team would earn you a lot of points. One Thrust man barely stays alive in his own fountain. Congratulations to the University of Victoria, taking down Colorado State 2-0.
And I want to commend Victoria not only on the fact that they had very strong macro play, but also the fact that the win was a team effort. Of course, the Italian one had a really strong impact, but Coach Tyler, 1997, came up huge as well. Even tank puppies on that tank on a non-carry role only died 1 time that game, was very resolute and very effective for his team. As a whole, this roster is looking really strong, and I'm quite excited to see how they do in the playoffs.
All right, so now, Seamus, this is your first ULoL Campus Series 2017 broadcast, and something traditional that we've been doing is we always select a banned gaming MVP at the end of the game, or at the end of the series, rather. So if you had to pick one person in this entire series, winner or loser, to be the banned gaming MVP, why is it the Italian one?
Yeah, that's not even a question at this point. The Italian one for pulling out a pick that was
unorthodox?
Unorthodox, but then he also played it in an unorthodox style, and that double unorthodoxness just completely threw the opposing team for a loop. Then he comes back, plays a standard meta pick, and gets elite scoreline, 13, 3, and 7. Overall, fantastic play by the jungler. He also picked apart the disadvantages on the opposing team very expertly. Like, this guy had nearly immaculate play throughout the series. It's
not even a question. I mentioned that, yeah, the rest of the team did really well too, but the Italian one, 10 out of 10 performance.
The Italian one definitely a big factor in leading his team, the University of Victoria, to a W. Taking a look at the standings one more time, see now Victoria improves their record to 4-1 in Division West 7. So congratulations to them. We know the more wins you pick up, the easier your future run is going to be. So Victoria, I'm sure they're very, very happy about that. But that about does it for this edition of the ULoL Campus Series 2017 presented by the Collegiate Star League. Once again, I was Joshua Piscator-Lee here alongside Seamus Simu Sanderson. For those of you interested in catching some more collegiate action, you can take a look at the schedule on the screen right now. A lot of League of Legends CSGO action happening in the early parts of this week. But tomorrow, you can actually catch some StarCraft 2 and Dota 2. I feel like I'll get shot by Riot if I just say Dota 2 on this stream, but lots of action to check out on C-Star League in the future. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow the channel. Have a good night, everybody.